maybe you can tell everybody about yourself.
Yeah, mortgage agent, investor, buy apartment buildings, finance apartment buildings, and anything you need to buy in order to scale up to an apartment building. Yeah.
You've really moved up to the apartment building space as your primary investing asset, eh?
Yeah, especially with all the market fluctuation. I just like the fact that I could control NOI and thereby valuation a lot more.
Yeah, not because some guy across the street sold for a certain amount of money, right? That's always
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, because that goes into it, but it's not all that goes into it, which I like. So, and then it runs more like a business, which is what I
Absolutely.
like. Yeah, multifamily of all forms, 2, 3, 4, 5, 24, 45, whatever it might be. I like multifamily.
Yeah, same. I mean, I've been talking to a couple of people, and we're doing some of my clients. We're just kind of taking our time because they're not necessarily making any moves right now, but we're sitting down and doing what I would call like a portfolio evaluation, looking at what kind of returns they're getting for each of the asset. And some people are realizing, wait, why did I buy this single family home? Like, this is not giving me the returns I'm looking for. Like, they should be scaling. Most people have come to the realization, no, I should be buying at least a duplex.
Yeah.
And the ones that have a bunch of duplexes are saying, I'm going to sell 2 or 3 of these off and buy a couple of bigger buildings now.
Yeah. You know what's wild? You talk about people kind of stabilizing and kind of looking at portfolio. Refinance mortgage originations are up 42% year on year versus last year, despite purchases being down. So the market is moving. People are, consolidating debt. They're getting money ready to buy, depending on where you're at. Definitely lots of things happening in the refinance world, and some people with high interest rates from the last little bit. They're refinancing into lower debt. We actually had a fixed rate mortgage like 6.8% from when things were at the peak, and we broke it, paid a 10K penalty, and still going to save about 35 grand over the next 2 years.
It's makes you wonder what things are going to be like because I think today the CPI numbers came in lower than expected.
Yeah.
And tomorrow I think is the announcement. We'll see where that takes us.
It's going for 43% odds of a rate cut. I think, with Trump tariffs and everything else going on in the market and how yields have gone, the odds of a rate drop have severely dropped.
It's 50-50 on a 25 versus no change, eh?
Correct. Yeah. And they've reduced forward-looking rate forecasts. So, if we were talking at the beginning of last week, they were calling for a 50 basis drop between now and the end of the week. Now they're only calling for 25 basis drop. Based on today's information, it looks like the next cut will probably be not till September now. That being said, Trump could tweet something later and that could all change. So,
yeah, nothing you can do about that. And, I think that's the importance of just looking at the numbers as it is today, making sure the numbers work, even if it's a little higher or lower. Play around with numbers. Make sure you're protected in all scenarios. And if you're looking at an asset and it barely works, then I don't know if that's something you want to be getting into right now.
Yeah, 100%, especially if you're taking high leverage.
Exactly. It's stupid, crazy stuff that I love doing, but not for everybody.
No.
All right, let's get into today's deal of the week. This one's interesting. This property here is a duplex. This is something that me and my team member Rose listed last week. You look at a number, you're like, oh man, 800 grand for a duplex. It's an expensive duplex. Here's why. There's 9 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms.
Wow.
Yeah. So
it's a big building, actually. I'm just looking at it right now. It's a huge building.
Yeah, so you're looking at the front, it doesn't look that big, right? But if you look at it from the back, you realize it's actually the ground slopes downwards and is exposed at the back. So you had this whole thing, and look how far it goes back, right? It's a gigantic rectangle.
Yeah.
I think if you look at how there's 2 roof lines, I think this was an addition, if I were to guess. So the entirety of the main house is 1 unit, that including the basement. There's 6 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. Remember, the entire back portion has 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms.
Okay.
Decent sized yard. You guys can see, right? Yeah, you can.
Yes.
And look at the finishes; they're pretty high end. I think it was completely redone in 2021 or 2022, like top to bottom.
Nice.
With that kitchen there, pot lights, hall backsplash.
Like it's the build a special pantry door.
Yeah, yeah. I like how it looks, honestly.
Yeah.
You can tell if you lit the light on inside by accident.
Yeah.
Bathroom is nice. This is one of the bedrooms, I think. Laundry in each unit, of course. If you're gonna redo it to this level, you have to, right?
Yeah.
You see this here? That's an electric baseboard heater. So this property doesn't have gas service at all. It's all electric and water, and they're both separately metered.
Nice.
So the tenants are paying for everything.
It's good.
Bedroom, bedroom, bedroom.
It's a huge place, man.
And then down to the basement, there's another bathroom and two more bedrooms that they're just not even using. They're just putting their I think just boxes of Huggies.
So it's pretty much a townhouse.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Yeah.
They even got pot lights there in the basement. And
Nice.
then the back unit, you go through this little pathway here up these stairs, and you go through this door here, and then you have the other unit. So kitchen, similar backsplash, U-shaped kitchen here. I think this is the kind of clipping the edge of a living room. Bathroom with laundry again. Bedroom. See?
Nice.
And bathroom again. And what something I was thinking of is theoretically, right now it's 6 bedrooms in the front and 3 bedrooms in the back. Out of the 6 in the front, 2 of them are in the basement, and out of the 3 in the one of them is in the basement. And theoretically, with this walkout setup, you could turn the basement into a 3rd unit if you wanted to.
You know what though? I'd be curious when we run the numbers because I'm just thinking in my brain, the rent we are getting from a triplex around the street on Dunbar. I don't think it's going to be that much more than what you're going to get because of how big that one unit is. But we can run the numbers and see.
Yeah, and the parking isn't the greatest. There's 2 separate driveways, but they're not the deepest.
Yeah.
So to get a 3rd unit, you would complicate things when it comes to parking because then people start annoying each other, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, the main thing here is you got 2 giant units, separate entrances, 2 separate driveways, separate utilities, separate laundry. It's about as separate as it gets.
Yeah, you could probably get some really good tenants in here too.
Oh yeah, with how nice it looks. One thing is that they're currently tenanted, but they're both leaving end of this month.
Oh,
so you can set market rents.
Yeah.
Let's jump into the numbers. All right, go to my promising sheet. So what was it? $799. That's your price. Income. So 6-bed, 3-bath unit. We're gonna be speculating a little bit on the price because I've never rented a house that. The last time I rented out a 5-bed house, detached house that's on its own, we got $3,200 for it, but that was also in Potter's Creek.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think you're gonna get capped here by the area, if anything.
Yeah, I think you can get 2,500 at least.
At least, yeah. I think that's a conservative number. Yeah,
I think I would be comfortable telling somebody 2,700.
Yeah, you'd be pushing anywhere between 25 to 27, 25 for sure. Worst case.
Yeah,
and really, it's just the neighborhood kind of capping you. It's not like it's that bad, but it's not Potter's Creek.
No. And this is not considering the potential of when you have 6-bed, 3-bath, you do get a little bit of the, not necessarily students, but the work permit demographic, who are willing to pay a little bit more as well.
Sure, fair enough.
The back unit being a 3-bed, 2-bath, I think at least 2,100.
Yeah, I was thinking 21, 22. Yeah,
21, 22, maybe 23 at the top end, but let's just say 21. This will be a kind of nice middle ground, okay? So 4,800, almost $5,000 a month. Your vacancy in there, property taxes. 5374. Just about $450 a month. Insurance, I think they said it was around $2,700.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Repairs and maintenance reserve, I have 5% as my default. Honestly, if it was fully renovated 2 years ago, it probably won't be this high, but I just leave it in there.
Mhm.
Property management, 6%. That's pretty typical of our area.
True.
Utilities, of course, will be 0 because the tenants are paying for everything, and there's no rentals in this property. So, all right, on to the mortgage payment side of things. What are we at these days if you're looking at a 30-year amortization for a rental at 20% down?
You're looking at probably between 4.2 to 4.3% right now.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
No.
If you're in a whole score, you're looking higher, but yeah.
No, 4.2? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You say so.
Fixed rate. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's gonna make the numbers look a lot better. All right. So with a obviously $800,000,
yeah, you could get an insured mortgage right now for 3.75%.
That's insane, dude. Imagine buying this place for 5%. I'm not quite 5% down, more like 6 or 7%, right? Because of the 10% thing. Once you go over 500,
yeah.
Living in the 3-bed unit and then making 2,700 from the front, you'd be laughing.
Yeah. It's a crazy time, man. It's actually like it's wild right now when you're getting 3-year fixed for 3.75, where it's just like I don't even know if it's making sense to do variable anymore.
Yeah, especially with like especially if you're capped on qualifying, you use the lower number from the fixed, right?
Yeah.
But regardless, so 4.2 30-year amortization, $800K purchase price, meaning your down payments roughly around 160, 20% down. Your monthly payments just over 3,000, but you're making a rent 4,700 after all the expenses, even with the kind of things that people might not always necessarily use, but we use it just in case.
Mm-hmm.
You should be cash flowing, almost $400 a month.
Nice.
That's not bad for a cash like a turnkey asset.
No.
With property management, with repairs and maintenance reserve already accounted for, with vacancy already accounted for. Like if you got rid of those, you'd be, I think, to not throw my people into, so you don't know white words. The realtor way of marketing these things is always without property management, without repairs and maintenance, and without vacancy. And they're saying, "Oh yeah, look how much money you can make minus property taxes, minus insurance. Wow, $2,000 a month cash flow."
Yeah. Anyway. But this is still good for a turnkey property.
No, I think $400 a month cash flow for something that's turnkey is pretty impressive.
Especially with a 22.6%, ROI with like 3% appreciation.
That's assuming 3% appreciation. Like, I would hope you get more than that, but worst case scenario, you're not. The likelihood of getting below 3 is very low, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair. You know what's wild though, man? Something to talk about is vacancy numbers have gone up.
They have. I think the most recent CMHC report said was it 3.2, something like that, or 2.7
right now.
Yeah.
3.5% actually for Belleville, Queenie West.
Depends on how you look at it. I think that some of them are for purpose-built ones. I think the reports were purpose-built multis.
Yeah, there's not enough data on like these kind of accessory dwelling units and stuff like that.
It's
but
tough.
I think directionally, it's definitely going up.
No, 100%. 100%. All right. There's that. I quickly wanted to look at another one. This one I've been keeping an eye out on for a while. This is on Wright Avenue. This is a cute little neighborhood just on the west end of the city, far west end of the city, past Potters Creek. It's a cute little neighborhood. I think there's a lot of potential in this neighborhood. It's very quiet with a park nearby. I've had multiple clients purchase properties in this neighborhood doing duplex conversions. And you don't really see them as low as in the low 4s. So
yeah,
I want to take a look at this one. I haven't been to this property myself yet, but look, based on what I see, it's your typical bungalow with a metal roof.
Actually, I have a client on the street who just finished a conversion refi for 660. So that area is
Nice,
improving nicely.
nice. Okay, so that's a like 660 and 430. That's 100. No, that's a
230.
230 lift.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that sounds pretty good to me.
He did a really, really good job, probably above average. But let's say 650, 640K, you still got a pretty good spread there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so looking through the pictures, they're not. These don't look like professional photos. So obviously, I'm sure if this was professional photos, it would look a lot better. But you have your thin hardwood planks, nice big windows. They look updated, right? A little hard to see the layout of the house. Where's the kitchen? I'm so confused right now. Oh, here it is. Okay, the kitchen's a little dated. I would personally probably just do a new kitchen at this point.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
you don't even have a range hood above the stove.
Yeah.
Okay. Bedroom, bathroom. Not horrible. A little outdated, but
It's dated, but nothing that should be too expensive to fix.
no. There's a basement, I think. Yeah, because of the drop ceiling stuff. Good height, based on at least what I can see in the pictures. Obviously, you want to measure to confirm. Like you look at a basement like this, you're gutting the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, breakers, that's always good. And you have laundry down there.
It's good.
Yeah, you got good height there. I like the metal roof. That'll save you money in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice deep lot as well. I can imagine an ADU fitting back there. That looks like it would fit nicely.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh yeah, now from this angle, it looks way bigger. Oh yeah, this is plenty of space. Yeah, and there's your friends. Okay, and this is actually quite close to the road, so it's actually quite close to the water as well.
Nice.
Right here, with the water right there. Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be a little hard to run the numbers on because of the high construction cost, but we can run it real quick. Obviously, this is not gonna have the refinance numbers in, but let's say you bought it for 430, and you did renovate it top to bottom, 3-unit up, 2-bed down. It is. Yet it's currently 2 beds upstairs.
Yeah.
And 1 bed, so it'll be. I couldn't tell from the pictures, but I would imagine there's a living room or like a dining room or something to convert. But let's assume there's not, and it's going to be 2 and 2. What kind of rents are we thinking? 2-bed upstairs, you can maybe get 20.
No, it's really dropped, man. Like I think we're looking at like 3,800 total.
Oh yeah, third.
Yeah.
3,800 total. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'll use your 3.6.
3.5.
2.5.
3.5. 3.5.
3.5.
Yeah.
All right. It rounds it up, unfortunately.
You could do your decimal points off.
I know.
There you go.
No. Oh, there you go. Okay. Not an Excel master.
Yeah.
All right. Property taxes 2,994. Insurance when you're done, probably $200 a month, right?
Yeah.
Flex.
Yeah.
Keep these the same. Utilities. I'm assuming you're separating. If you're gonna gutting the basement, you're separating all utilities, right?
Yeah.
This was the same 4.2, 30-year RAM. Your down payment would actually only be $86,000. And in your renovations, though, if you're doing work upstairs and downstairs, you're probably paying what?
120, 130.
Yeah, let's use the top end, 130. Yeah. You're all in at 220-ish.
Yeah.
And assuming you don't refinance, you would be cash flowing $1,000 a month. Now, this calculator does not give me the ability to do the refinance. It just
put the purchase price at like 660. I'm just curious what the cash flow number would look like. The ROI number would be off.
You still cash flow $200 after you refi out at 660.
Yeah, and you'd pull a lot of your money out because you'd have a 528K loan minus your 130.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's not bad. Like people complain that there's no good duplex conversions, and for the longest time there was nothing to duplex convert under 500, and now we have several options in the mid to low 400s, and
yeah, yeah. In this case, you'd probably leave your down payment in, but you'd pull your renovation budget back out.
yeah, it's not bad. You get
No, not bad at all. Yeah.
$130,000 back.
Yeah.
Move on to the next one. You're only stuck with 80K out of a 600K asset. That's like barely 12%.
Yeah, pretty good
with a cash flow property.
Yeah, cool, man.
Yeah.
2 great opportunities.
Yeah, just what I wanted to share today. There wasn't anything too exciting this week.
Yeah, but what do you think's coming next for the Belleville market heading into spring and like what you're seeing on the ground?
There's a lot more activity now. There's things have really picked up, and starting to get calls from people who are been given the tap on the shoulder about military relocations. So once that gets going, last year was a little bit chaotic. It's for whatever reason, normally military relocations tend to be on a certain time of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, for some reason, people like got the notice to move like in October, which is unheard of. So we'll see how this year goes. If it's back on schedule on a regular time frame, then you're going to see a mass group of listings. But at the same time, military people, when they buy, they buy like they have a week they have to leave with a sold firm house when they come.
Yeah.
So people, there's going to be I think there's going to be one spring market is in full swing. There's going to be very few people who are looking and not serious. Like they are going to look at properties with an intention of buying something that week.
Yeah, that's fair. Pretty quick turnaround, pretty quick close, very little conditions.
But well, no, not always quick close. A lot of these guys are serious about buying, but they'll close in July.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, I think this time is the best time to be looking at duplex conversions. If you, with the plan of getting your permits, your contractors, even your materials ordered ahead of time before closing, the spring market is the best because people who list in April and May are hoping to sell their house, and the people who are buying are hoping to move in the summer.
Gotcha. Yeah, fair enough.
Because they're in the middle of the school. They don't want to change school districts or change schools in the middle of the school year. They want to have a nice little transition period where the kids are out of school, and then they can end the school in the same year and then start a school in the other year if absolutely had to.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, just take a week to move and not disturb the kids' school schedule.
Sure. Fair enough.
So what this means is that you can find a house in April and you'll find the seller says, yeah, I want a closing in July. And as an investor, that's what you want, especially when you're preparing for a big project like that.
Yeah, everything lined up.
Like I can imagine someone even trying to raise capital for it or getting a bunch of contractor quotes. And the permit itself, if you put the right clauses in the APS, you can get your thing. Like I think almost all my clients, except for the few cases where the seller refused, have made it so that we got the permits in our hands before we closed.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and usually it goes pretty smoothly in Belleville. Usually 2 weeks is a go, but sometimes they can go back and forth a few times, and it's very nice when that happens before you close.
Yeah, 100%. Less time, less holding cost.
Yeah. You don't want to close and then submit your permit and then go back and forth for 2 months. That would suck.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. All right. That's it for us this week. We'll hopefully join you guys again this time next week, assuming things all line up for us. Yeah. If you are interested in the Belleville real estate market, I'd happily jump on a call with you. George Wang at Cashflow George is the easiest way to reach me across all the social media platforms. And if you're looking for someone to finance your investing or any kind of financing needs, especially bigger buildings, because he likes big buildings, Ribhu is definitely the guy to reach out to. Anyway, that's it for us. We'll see you guys next week, hopefully.
See you guys.